the bill for Obamacare, he came out, he was on a panel, and he came out, and I want to play this, and if there's any other way to read this, please let me know. But I want you to listen to what he said about you, the American people, and about what they did to the bill. They intentionally wrote the bill so it would be confusing, hard to understand, because they knew that they could get away with a lack of transparency, and the people would be so stupid that they would get the bill passed. And I want you to listen to him, a guy who was with the administration. Listen to what he said and tell me this is the kind of government we want. Not deserve. We deserve this kind of government. But this is the kind that we want. Listen.
It's just, you can't do it politically. You just literally cannot do it. Okay? Transparent financing, unless I have transparent financing, also transparent spending. I mean, this bill was written in a tortured way to make sure CBO did not score the mandate as taxes. If CBO scored the mandate as taxes, the bill dies. Okay? So it's written to do that. In terms of risk-rated subsidies, if you had a law which said healthy people are going to pay in, it made explicit that healthy people pay in and sick people get money, it would not have passed. Okay? Just like the people, lack of transparency is a huge political advantage. And basically, call it the stupidity of the American voter or whatever. But basically, that was really, really critical to getting the thing to pass. And, it's the second best argument. Look, I wish Mark was right. We can make it all transparent. But I'd rather have this law than not. So
that is stunning.
That is a stunning admission. That is admitting that Saul Alinsky ends justify the means. Mm-hmm. That is true. That they will do anything. That, remember, we told you at the time, they're lying to you. Don't you see? They're lying to you. Why won't they just come out and say these things? Well, he's saying because it worked to our advantage.
And it's all the things we said.
It's all the things
we said. Yeah. They knew it was a tax. They wrote it to confuse people that it wouldn't be a tax.
And they say, this is the most heartbreaking thing in this. The American people are stupid.
Yeah.
So lack of transparency works in our benefit because they're so stupid that we can get away with it as long as we confuse them enough.
This is why you target the dummy vote. They're not attempting to win over people who listen to talk radio because they know people who think about it this long won't support these ideas. It's why the Democratic, the number one advertisement target on cable for the Democrats over the last election was E, the network that runs the Kardashians and everything else. Because you're not targeting. This is why they get so frustrated at people when they talk about voter ID. Well, I don't want people who are capable of getting ID voting. It's this constant dumbing down. I mean, and then how frustrating is it? The only reason we have this law in the first place is because they argued in front of the Supreme Court that it was not a tax. And here is one of the architects of it admitting they wrote it specifically so they could lie about it. And say it wasn't a tax. And then they go in front of the Supreme Court and say it was a tax.
They also knew and wrote it that healthy people would be paying for the sick people. This is how they get the others insured. This is how they make sure that people with pre-existing conditions and whatever else will be insured. Because it's healthy people paying for the sick people. And I
don't think that's necessarily bad. I don't understand why that's a bad thing. That's what insurance is. Right. We healthy people pay for sick people.
That's what he's saying.
The way it works.
He's saying that the American people are so stupid. If we were honest about that, they wouldn't be able to understand that. Not because they wouldn't support it for 25,000 other reasons, like we don't have the money, or that it wouldn't work, or that would hurt our health care.
This is so evil.
Oh, it's really bad.
So don't America, don't we deserve better than this? And don't think that the Republicans, aren't past this kind of tactic.
Wait a minute, though. We absolutely don't deserve better than this. When you have a society that's so disengaged that it will fall for the war on women, for example. Yeah.
Well, try this on.
And again, at least they engaged maybe a little bit this last time. But when you have that, you don't deserve better, do you?
So the president right now is pushing for his new AG, Attorney General position to be filled. And Harry Reid is saying, we're going to pass and fill all of these. We're going to confirm all of these people before the Republicans get in. Loretta Lynch. Now, I wrote something on Facebook in response to what she said. She said this last week that voter ID laws have been passed by racist Southerners. voter ID laws were passed by racist Southerners. Now, so you know, the voter ID law passed in Georgia by, of course, racist Southerners
in 2007.
How did that work out?
Minorities were hit hard.
Were they?
Yeah, they were. Well, I mean, by hard, I mean their participation in the next election went up 45%. But maybe if the voter ID law hadn't been passed, it would have gone up by 145%. I don't know. But it actually went up.
So I just want to, somebody posted this on my Facebook page, and I just thought this was a remarkable list. Because they're saying that voter ID, to be able to ask people and say, can you present your ID, then you can vote, that is racist. But we are requiring ID for driving, getting on an airplane, a doctor's appointment, hospital, buying alcohol, buying tobacco, entering a nightclub, applying for a job, pharmacies, bank transactions, applying for store credit, establishing utilities, water, gas, and telephone, purchasing a vehicle, registering a vehicle, outpatient testing, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, opening a retirement account, purchasing a firearm, getting a hunting license, getting a fishing license, applying for a passport, pawn shops, donating blood, writing a check, using a credit card, applying for a credit card, buying insurance, buying a train ticket, buying a season pass to an amusement park, volunteer work at a nonprofit, rent a truck or equipment, a check-in at a hotel, social welfare services like food stamps, renting a house or an apartment, renting a boat or recreation equipment, check out a book or establish a library membership, applying for a fishing license, purchasing a home, attending a university, paying your property taxes, establish a professional license, take a test, LSAT, ACT, or SAT. But you can't use and ask for an ID when you vote?
And this is why less than a third of even Democrats oppose voter ID laws.
But the person that he has selected to be his new attorney general may actually be worse than Eric Holder.
It's a weird sort of voting law that would allow them. In fact, maybe we do need voter ID laws because all these Southerners are voting in Michigan. What a terrible issue.
In New Hampshire.
In New Hampshire. Why are they up there? That's so strange.
So bad.
Such a stupid comment.
So stupid.
It's beneath us, and it's dangerous.
But it's the same thing, isn't it? If they admit...
Yeah, and we accept we are dumb.
Right. No, it's true. But think about it. Put this in the same paradigm as what they were talking about with the healthcare law. If they admit that it's not racist, if they admit that it's just simple ID that anyone could get it, then people wouldn't oppose it. If they admit the truth that all these things that you said, hunting licenses, library books, you need an ID. If they talk about that part of it, they look like idiots, and it would never work even with their base. So instead, they lie about it. They say it's voter intimidation. They say it's racism, hoping that people will just bail on it. And we were a little tough on Rand Paul last week, and on the Wonderful World of Stu before. And that, he is out there, I think, playing into this. And I think we're going to have him on the show this week. I'd like to talk to him about it because this is one of the most popular things that Republicans talk about, where it's an issue that people really support. Young voters, Democrats, black voters, all contingencies that are difficult for a conservative to talk to. Here's something that they really enjoy and think is the right thing, and we won't talk about it. I don't understand that approach. But I do understand the Democrats' approach, and the progressives in particular, to be specific, their approach on this, which is if you just confuse the issue, if you make it about something it's not, if you make a presidential election about the banning of birth control, you can hopefully keep people in the dark long enough to win, and then you get to do the real stuff. And that is exactly what he admitted. It's what we've been talking about for a really long time, and that this audience surely knows. But until more than just this audience knows it, I don't know how you stop it.
We have to stop preaching to the choir. That's what we have to do. We have to stop preaching to the choir.